if you were actually a contractor, calculating how many floor joists you would need for a certain area of flooring, just hands-on application through the entire process. One of the most impactful things I thought is when they were talking about reading a tape measure, where Mr. Wilson paused and he got out the big inch and started talking the kids through how to read the ruler and talking about fractions. So it was very hands-on. Some of the feedback from our kiddos, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but for the selling point was the amazing opportunity, but the feedback that they gave us, because that's who we serve. And I wrote down 3 of the things that they had said I thought was most impactful was, I wish I could learn math like this every day. Another was the best field trip ever. And another student said, this day went nothing like I expected it, but it was much, much better. So just the hands-on experience, reading the tape measure, doing fractions, but not only did they do math during this challenge, but they talked about teamwork and they talked about problem solving. They did a mock interview to find out who the leaders of each group would be. And within that mock interview, once that was finished up, each one student had talked about their experience and things of that sort in specific to building. But the one thing that they really talked to them about was how to kind of sell yourself in an interview, and talked about how you need to market yourself with character and to help distinguish yourself between other candidates. For some of our students, guys, this was their first opportunity ever to get on a college campus. When we asked, there were several of our students that raised their hand that they had never been on a college campus. And so this was an amazing first experience for our kids. They learned a lot. They had a great time. Several of them, I said, can we do this again? So I can't say enough good things about the partnership with the Hammer Build. And then that entire experience was phenomenal. So I think that's all I have to share. If you have any specific questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Does anyone have any questions pertaining to the Hammer Build?
I do have a question, and I might have to direct that to Perry's group directly, but I was trying to figure out how to get all my 6th through 8th students through the program, because I've got 90 6th graders. Would I have to do them, I guess, in different groups, or do you have any idea about that?
I'll try to answer that, but we will talk to Perry. I think it would be about groups of 30, but they're partnered with Walter State, and Walter State has a trailer where they can bring it around. And they're also training people from here to be the leads. So Perry won't always be there. It will be some lead from our region. But I think the idea is that they can bring it to you or to a site near you and then set it up and do as many of these as we need to do. So that's a scheduling and logistics question, but we'll be happy to work with you to work that out. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I will say that you do not have to be partnered with Hammer to go to the out of school time activities. You don't have to be partnered to do the Hammer Build.
Right.
Oh, my screen isn't moving.
There it went.
So I talked about the NISWONGR Online for a little bit at the beginning. I did say that the seat fees will be covered. We want to sustain this through the grant. So we will be covering the seat fees at the start, but we might not be covering it later on to have the funds to sustain NISWONGR Online. And then I will kick it over to talk about BioBuilder.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Yovett. I'm the Director of Programs at BioBuilder. I'm really excited to be here today to talk with you all, and I hope that we might see some of you in our programs either this spring or perhaps next fall. So BioBuilder, for those of you who might not be familiar with us, is a nonprofit, a STEM education nonprofit. It's really focused on trying to bring synthetic biology and kind of modern life sciences to as many students as we can reach. We know that it's not always the kind of science that we have in schools or is easily accessible to students in different communities. And so we really want to use our platform to expand to as many students as possible. So we have a whole variety of programs, which include programs aimed at students, as well as programs aimed at teachers and educators. The Ideal Accelerator, which is the program that we're focusing on today, is aimed at high school students. It is an introductory program, so you don't really need to know anything about synthetic biology. Just students having a general understanding of DNA is really all we're looking for. It's an online guided learning community that takes place over the course of 3 weeks. So that helps students develop an idea for a biotechnology to make the world a better place. One of the things we find really compelling is that students really care about issues in the world, and they really want to be able to be creative and be innovative and try to solve these problems. And so we're doing that through synthetic biology and exploring ideas of biotechnologies. So this program essentially takes place in cohorts throughout the school year. So teachers are able to choose the cohort that works best for them. We have one more left this year, and that starts on April 25th. So I hope that some of you may join us for that one. And essentially there's 3 weeks and there's different materials available. So it's asynchronous and online. So you have about 5 hours of asynchronous lectures, biodesign assignments, reference materials, and then we provide feedback on the assignments for students. We also have office hours, which are when we bring in a professional, a student, or an academic in the bioengineering space. And they have a conversation with the students. They can answer questions, talk about their background, essentially helping students to see what it actually looks like to have a career in this field. We also end the program with a project showcase, which is really exciting. Students submit ahead of time these videos going over their projects, and during the project showcase, we go through all of the different projects and they have a chance to talk about their projects and their ideas and see what everyone else has been up to. So it's always a really exciting day. I am the main contact for the project, so if you register, I'll be the one helping you get onboarded. I would love to answer questions. I'm available by email. We would really love to see you in our program.
Thank you, Stephanie. Does anybody have questions about BioBuilder?
I have a question. It's Vicki. Hi, Stephanie. My question is, if a teacher wants to start this in the fall with their class, would it be best for them to join this cohort in April? Or will there be another one before school starts?
So we have a variety of programming, and one of that is an after-school program called the BioBuilder Club that starts next year. So for schools or classes that are interested in maybe doing a kind of a longer form, so BioBuilder Club goes from the middle of fall until March typically. So if there's schools that are interested in doing that, it would be really helpful to have the Ideal Accelerator either early in fall or this April. But if you are just interested in doing the Ideal Accelerator, the 3-week program, you could do that this spring, or once the school year starts back up, we typically start around that time. We don't normally run it over the summer.
Okay, and following on that, we have about 5 or 6 schools who have already expressed interest partnering with BioBuilder next year. It would be great to have this information to send directly out to them so that they'll know about it before the deadline.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. I couldn't hear you just now.
Okay, I'll try again.
I'm sorry, you cut out for a moment there.
Okay, we'll try one more time. Can you hear me?
My internet's
No, the
unstable.
internet is unstable.
Our internet is unstable.
Of course.
Great.
Can you put it in the chat? Put the
So,
message in the chat.
Tell her Stephanie, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
I will email my question to you, okay? Okay.
That sounds good. I'll keep an eye out for your email. I'll also pop my email in the chat, so anyone with questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly.
Somebody else might have a question, Bethany.
Does anybody else have any questions before we move on? No? Okay. I'm going to kick it over to Brittany to go over the calendar of events. Brittany, do you need to share your screen?
Sure, if you don't care. Let's see. Okay, I think all right. Let me pull it up here. All right, so I dropped the STEMLD website link into the chat. And you all are already probably familiar with this because our orientation training is housed on this site. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we're trying to promote some of our partner events. I think Brochet or Vicky One had mentioned it before that some out of school time activities are available to any student at a participating STEMLD school, regardless of whether or not that school has actually partnered with that particular partner. So we're trying to generate some interest both for partnered schools and then also for students who might be interested in some of the events or outside of that partnership. So on our website, we do have a link. Well, first off, on the home screen, we've been trying to advertise a little bit for some upcoming events. For example, the Marine Advanced Technology Education, Appalachian Highlands Regional Competition. That is going on. I don't know. I think that's like an event that's free and open to the public and kind of run by Streamworks. And obviously the opportunity that Stephanie just talked about, where we're trying to get folks registered for that as well. So on the homepage, we are trying to, give you a little sneak peek of some of the events at least, but on the top navigation bar, we also do have a link to our event calendar. And this process, it's actually the partners report different events that are going on internally so that we can advertise them. So we have it both in like the agenda view, and then you can also see the month view as well, and you can switch it to week, but you can actually add this calendar to your own Google Calendar as well so that you know when all these events are happening. And we've tried our best in these event descriptions to say whether or not they're free and open to the public or any student in any STEMLD school, or maybe they're only for participating or partner schools. Okay, so we've tried to distinguish between that in the descriptions. So for example, this one with Purdue University, it's only for those partner schools. So it wouldn't be open to say any student or teacher that wanted to participate, only partner schools. But the Idea Accelerator, of course, is a little different, right, Stephanie? They don't necessarily have to be partnered with you.
Absolutely. Right. So the Idea Accelerator is available at no cost for STEMLD schools, but it is open to other schools. So we have schools from all over the country and sometimes all over the world who will join for this program.
Right, thanks. Yeah, so again, we're trying to keep this calendar as up to date as possible, but you can kind of cycle through and see what's happening. And we do have a few things scheduled for the summer that maybe they're not on our calendar yet, but we hope to put those opportunities on the calendar very soon, so that everybody can look at it before school lets out and make sure that their students know and all of that. So any questions about the event calendar or website or anything like that? All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen then. Kick it back over to Brochet, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure you were next on that.
Next, I'm gonna go over the MOU and tax form. Most of you should have already gotten a copy of the MOU, but after this call, I'm going to send out an email and send that over again. It's $500 per semester in 2 total payments. We aren't really asking much of the lead contacts. We want them to fill out a spreadsheet once a semester that's going to be updated. And later on, I will be setting up one-on-one meetings to go over how to do that. And then communications to the schools about the events. Also, we ask that you reply to our emails in a timely manner. And then I'll send a copy of all the details on the requirements, but that's basically the gist of it. The W-9 form, all you have to fill out right here is number 1, where it says your name. 2, you can leave blank. 3, it's already checked as individual. And then you're gonna have to put your address, city, state, and zip. I will need you to fill out the social security number. And then you just sign right here and date it. I think Brittany said it won't let you enter in your signature. You might have to print it out and sign, or if you open it up through a PDF, right, Brittany?
Right. Yes. Some of those government forms, they want you to actually, print it out and have your actual signature on that. But if you open it in a PDF viewer and you already have an electronic version of your signature uploaded, you should be able to put it in there. Yeah. Or
And-
you can also just print it off and sign it, and you can fax it back to us or email it. I'll drop our fax number in the chat here in a second.
And the reasoning for this tax form is because you will be getting paid over $600. So that's why you're doing this, if you're curious. Does anybody have any questions about how to fill this out, or any questions about the MOU? No? Okay. I would like to have these MOUs sent back to me sometime next week. I know I've had a couple sent in, but I need to get this signed in order for you to get paid. Here is our contact information. You can also find this on our website. Feel free to text us or call us if you need anything. I've had some lead contacts text me, and I don't mind a bit. And I know Vicki doesn't mind. So if you need anything, you can either email us or text us. I put this at the beginning of the slides, but I'm gonna reinforce this, that you need to fill out the participation form to capture the participation of this meeting. There's a QR code if you'd rather scan it. And if you're watching the recording of this, you still need to fill it out. Does anybody have any questions?
Does anybody have questions about partnerships? I know many of you have already turned in your form about partners, but if you've got any questions, let us know. We're trying to get that wrapped up by the middle of April.
Brashay and Dr. Kirk, I have a question just about, and I'm sorry I missed the first few minutes, but specifically about the Niswonger online classes. Is that something I should just communicate to Jillian about, or would that be something I would ask you guys?
Jill can answer any of your questions.
If you contact Jill, if you have her email, contact her, tell her you're a STEMLD school, and she will work with you directly. That's probably the easiest way to get your questions answered.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I have one thing that I forgot to do. So I'm gonna do a little activity here. I want you guys to put in the chat what comes to mind when you think of STEM. What courses do you think of? Thank you, Brittany. Okay, I think that's everybody. I was gonna do a cloud game, but I don't think there's many people on here for that. I know people think of different things when it comes to STEM. But when we say STEM, we also mean the base level math courses or science courses. We mean biology. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, a lot of people will think of robotics and coding. We have had some folks that said, well, we don't need any more STEM. What I really need is something for my science teachers. And so we want to make sure that you know that we have things for the gamut. We have the specific stuff for robotics and coding and that kind of thing. And we also have general ed types of offerings for your science and math teachers. And that's really important because those science and math classes are going to touch every kid in your building. The specific stuff will touch the kids that are most interested in those things, but we really want to make a change in the STEM culture in your building. And we can only do that if we reach as many teachers and as many students as possible. So just want you to keep that in mind. You have 4 more years to engage with us. And we welcome your feedback, because if we're not offering something that you think is important, we'd like to know that.
And I will say again, these are the general education courses that we offer through Niswonger Online. This will be posted on our website very soon. If nobody has any other questions, I believe that's it for the day.
It's nice to see everybody.
Thank you all.